Hey, good morning, guys. How are y'all? Can y'all
What's
hear me
up?
okay? Welcome to the umpteenth edition of Coffee with Carl. I am thrilled. Listen, I got a special guest. Danny Brown with Richland County Sheriff's Department is with me today. And we were riding along in a sheriff's car. So we're, y'all know Danny, and I'll get to him in just a minute. Want to hit a couple things that's going on around town, and then we'll chat it up with Danny. Hey, this is the 245th day of the year. We're actually 2/3 the way through the calendar year. I probably shouldn't say it's National Chianti Day, but drink at home, not while you're driving around. It's also National Food Bank. So shout out to Aaron Rowe and the folks at Harvest Hope and David Beasley for his work with food banks around the world. And I'm just reporting the news like Rich Odell. I'm not saying anything about this, but it's also National Lazy Moms Day. I'm not touching that one. I'm just stating what I read this morning. Okay. So I don't think there are lazy moms, for the record. Rich, did I cover myself? Okay. Okay, good. All right. So we're moving on. But all right, nationally. Shocker of shocks, the FDA recommends a booster shot this week. Hello. Welcome to 3 years of COVID. We all need it, but new boosters coming next week. Big month this month in September. Expect some changes. The Fed is looking to raise rates again on the federal interest rate, maybe by 75 basis points. That's coming in mid-September. We'll talk about that next week. Had a great conversation this week with the Building Industry Association as well as the Realtors Association. We had two economists in town. I would say their names, but they're hard to pronounce. But anyway, they were phenomenal in presenting where the housing market is today. So let me give you a couple highlights. Currently, even though we're seeing a slowdown, there is absolutely no collapse in the future. So says we got good foundation in the economy. We are going to still see a slowdown in housing sales as well as construction, but that will allow maybe some of the supply issues to level out. Interesting fact, we're seeing just in the overall economy, 2 jobs for every job applicant in the United States right now. 2. That is amazing. And this is the largest gap. Construction jobs are one of the most sought after. And we're actually seeing the largest opening in over 30 years in the construction business. So anyway, but if you're trying to sell a house, 50% of the houses are selling at or above asking price. So that's good news if you're trying to sell, if you're trying to buy. But anyway, but the inventory is low. It is, interestingly enough, the inventory is about 20% of what it was in 2010. That is not many houses for sale. So anyway, enough of the boring stats, but it really was kind of cool. But the economists predict that interest rates will hover around 6% for the next several years. So, which is still historically low. What we've seen the last 3 or 4 years is just unbelievably low. So anyway, enough of that. You saw the House this week met. The South Carolina House of Representatives passed their abortion bill, goes to the Senate. They take it up on September 6th. So we'll report on that next week. All right, locally, there's only one thing to talk about other than talking with Danny. Football. Excited about that. Sorry, I'm going to try to change my screen right quick. There we go. Willie B will be packed tomorrow for the opening game against Georgia State. Listen, I got to love Sean Elliott, Georgia State fella, also a Columbia resident. But I hope the Gamecocks have a good game. Willie B, by the way, built, I didn't know this. Willie B was built in 1934 as a WPA project. And it was originally built for a capacity of 17,000 people. Through the days, the renovations, it is up to over 80,000 folks that will be jam-packed in there tomorrow night. It is the 16th largest on-campus stadium in the United States. So, facts of the day, write those down, impress people that you know stats, right? But I am excited about seeing everybody, including Big Sir's return. It appears that generals are in limited edition at University of South Carolina. We don't need to discuss that anymore, but we're excited about, I guess the real question is to comb or not to comb, right? That's bad, isn't it? I'm sorry. All right, we'll move on. Clemson, Georgia Tech for those Clemson fans. That's where all my money's going these days, so I have to throw in that, but they're playing Monday night against Georgia Tech. So with that, also, hope y'all saw 90 new units going into Bull Street announced this week, all in the attainable housing market, which is good. That means the prices will be a little bit less, but it's actually a great addition to Bull Street, especially when you have all the new life sciences going there, and you're going to see that packed out with residents and young physicians, we hope. So anyway, all that good stuff. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my friend, Danny Brown. Danny's kind enough to let me ride around with him this morning, but really excited. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thank you guys. Good morning, everybody.
All right. For those that don't know Danny is originally from Arkansas, but joined the U.S. Army, stationed here at Jackson as a police officer.
Got stationed out here 1995. I was a military police, went on active duty, and that's what brought me into the Columbia area. Got stationed in Fort Jackson my first tour, and those of y'all that are young enough to remember Bosnia in 96, 95, 96, I got sent over there. After that tour and that really nice area of the world, I came back to Fort Jackson, stabilized me here, and I met my wife who was going to University of South Carolina, and we hooked up and stayed.
That's
and
awesome.
Fell in love with this place, fell in love with the city. The vibe here was phenomenal. It still is, and that's why we stuck around here.
That's good stuff. And so you've been with the sheriff's office since 2000?
Since 2000. Came here in 2000, fresh out of active duty with the military. And while I was out there, I was seeing a lot of stuff. Of course, we partake down in 5 Points a lot while I was on the base. Stayed in 5 Points, went to a lot of games at Willie B, and fell in love with the vibe here, and started seeing Sheriff Lott on the media around that time. I was like, man, this department seems kind of cool. I checked it out and got hired on.
That's all right. Great. All right. So y'all recognize him from many. I hope you don't see him behind your vehicle, but if you also could see him on late night television.
I'm trying to see if I recognize anybody.
And so, but it's used to be Live PD. Now it's called On Patrol. What did you think when the sheriff said, "Hey, I got this idea for you"?
Oh God. Oh God, please help. Yeah, it's a little weird because a lot of folks, we did cops the summer before we did Live PD. We did cops for 9 weeks. It was kind of cool. We filmed with cops, showed them around the county a little bit, and all of a sudden that following spring in 2016, sheriff's like, hey, we're getting ready to look at doing this live version of cops. And we're like, live? Are you sure, boss? So a lot of people make mistakes on their job every day. I'm sure some of y'all folks have made a few errors here and there, but when we do it, it's about to be broadcast out to the world. So we're a little nervous about it at first, like anybody else would have been. And now it was such a great foresight on getting us involved in that show.
Have you had any embarrassing moments on TV?
Yeah. One of them, probably my first embarrassing moment, was when I wrecked the sheriff's Tahoe that he had just given us to drive for the show. And if any of y'all want to drive your boss's car on a live show that's shown around the world, I suggest not wrecking it. And then everybody and their mama on social media throughout the world is experts on how situations like that should be handled. Like, you should give yourself a ticket and all that. I was like, I didn't have to. South Carolina Highway Patrol took care of that for me. So, and that was probably the most embarrassing. But it also showed the transparency. It showed that hey, we're human too. We make mistakes. And that's what we want the world to see. And the sheriff's kind of said that many times, like, hey, we make mistakes, but we're going to show you guys how we get through them and how we handle things.
So there's been originally some criticism about this, just highlighting crime in an area, but there's also the component of humanizing the officers, and crime is everywhere. So it's not just here in Richland County, it's everywhere. But you see it paying off. I mean, I was reluctant. I did not post a TikTok. I was going to get them to post a TikTok of you dancing in the street.
I was just checking TikTok a minute
ago. But do you find that it has allowed you to talk to more people, especially younger guys out there?
Yeah. So there have been cities across the country that had pulled their police departments off the show because they were afraid about how it was going to show crime, if it's going to affect tax revenue, if it's going to affect tourism dollars coming into those cities. And we stuck with it enough. Of course, we started getting some of that same backlash about 6 months into the show. But we stuck with it enough to where people saw how we handle the crime, how we handle people we get out with on a regular basis, treat them like human, and it shows that human side of the badge. And at the same time, it puts a name with the badge. It puts a face with the badge. So I've had when we had the solar eclipse here a couple years ago, the sheriff, there was people from all across the country here because this was a good spot to view it. So the sheriff sent me over to Walmart on Forest Drive. There was a lot of people from out of town. So I'm over there. Kind of a long story short, I'm over there just saying hi to IPD fans because people came in the Columbia area because of solar eclipse. But then they realized we were filming IPD here, and we ended up doing meet and greets with them.
That's great.
And while I was out there, this gang member from Atlanta came up to talk to me because of the show. Never would have talked to a cop before, but because of the show, they'll come up and talk to us because they see us on the show, which is a trip. So it kind of creates that conversation with people that normally wouldn't talk to the police.
Yeah, that's good. Well, it is a way of break down some barriers and see people where they are. So that's great. All right. Crime in this region has been a topic of conversation. One, we've got 50% higher than the state average, double the national average. What are you seeing as a common crime that can be prevented?
One of the big things we're seeing right now is the car break-ins. So a lot of these guns that are getting used that we're seeing out here are coming from car break-ins. Just last night, I was telling you about last night, we had rolled up to the Obama station up here in North Main, and car was running, nobody around the car, windows were down. On the front seat of the car with the windows down, y'all, there was a gun sitting there. She had a big bag of marijuana in the car and a bunch of ecstasy. Car running unattended in an area that we already have high crime. You got a gun sitting there that's up for grabs, and then nobody around the car. So they could have stolen the car. So she went to jail on multiple charges. But people are leaving guns in their cars. They're leaving laptops in their cars, cell phones, everything. Even as much crime prevention talk we give, that's probably the number one thing right now. It's just these auto break-ins are off the chain, and nobody really wants to listen until they have to, you know.
All right, you heard it from him. Lock your doors. Maybe I'll add that: not driving in the left lane and lock your doors at night.
Left lane's the number one crime in this country, and it always happens when I'm off. I can't stand it.
That's my pet peeve. So they're tired of hearing me talk about it, but that's my one pet peeve: people driving in the left lane slow.
I wish we could do like NASCAR rubbing racing, right? Like, hey man, let me by.
Just ease them over. Yeah, that's funny. All right, so the new transition has been good from live to reels. It's the same crew that's been doing it, right?
Same crew, and it was weird because when they left, and it did left all of a sudden. I mean, they shut us down pretty quick. We had crews in our cars. These crews here, they come in, and that's another kind of a boost to a little bit of our economy because we got a lot of extra workers coming in for the show that live here. They put them in apartments. They're actually living in downtown Columbia in apartments. And the crews live here. They eat on the economy every night, all that stuff. Not a huge boost, but
we'll take it. Every little bit helps.
Yeah. So they live here. They become friends. We go to barbecues. We go out to the lake together. We show them a lot, and they are from around the country, literally around the country. Ohio, California, of New York, New Jersey, they're all down here. So when they left, it was like a bunch of our friends have left, you know. So now they're back, and we got the same guys back, same producers back, which is great.
So just for behind the scenes, they literally just sit in your back seat and
Yeah, they sit here. Where you're sitting, I usually got Jeff or Eddie, one of our camera guys. In the backseat will usually be the producer who's talking real time with New York or New Jersey now, where they're at. And we usually have a tech person. So what they do is they put these big cell phone type transmitters on the top of the vehicles on Fridays and Saturday nights. They put some battery packs in the car, and just like all of y'all have cell phones, we got cell phones. They got the insides of the cell phones, the transmitter part that's in the back, and they got like 10 or 12 of them back there. And there's these huge white box antennas on top. And it sends the cell phone signal basically from the antennas up to New Jersey to the studio.
Okay.
And the camera guys, so y'all see us wearing our bulletproof vest and all that. The camera guys have their bulletproof vests on, but they've also got a pack of batteries around them and a transmitter that transmits to the truck and then up to New Jersey. So that's how they get it live, is they send it up there through the airwaves. It's
pretty high tech.
It's unreal. It's unreal. And it's really cool to see the backside of the technology of it. But again, if I'm out running, I'm 22 pounds heavier with all this. I know I look super skinny, but I'm 22 pounds heavier with all this on. So they're right at probably about 30 pounds extra with all their stuff.
Wow.
It's unreal, super unreal.
And they get plenty to see.
They do. We're busy, and it's not so much highlighting crime, but man, we're a capital city. We're going to have capital city issues. We're going to have capital city drama, but we're also going to have the cool capital city scenes, which is what we're trying to show everybody.
That's awesome. All right. We got time for a couple questions. Anybody got a question or any topic y'all want to talk about?
Hey, Carl, this is Mary with Mary's Kitchen. So
hey, Mary, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. So I want to thank it's Deputy Brown, right? Did I get it right?
Yes.
And so many levels. First, thank you for your service to the country. Thank you for the service to the community. And thank you for your service in Bosnia, because I was born in Yugoslavia, in Kosovo. I had family in Bosnia during the war. So I would be honored if you ever come to Mary's Kitchen and I could just prepare a meal for you from the Balkans, because it means a lot to meet somebody who actually was there while my people were being slaughtered. So thank you.
It was amazing. And it's just like so I've got 2 trips to Afghanistan as well, Iraq, Kuwait, a lot of places. Bosnia was my first overseas one. And you see the turmoil that was going on in Bosnia in 95, 96. And when we got there, we were able to kind of mitigate some type of peace while we're there. But the warmth of the people that have gone through that stuff was phenomenal. We couldn't go through any towns or villages in the mountains without people coming out. And as hard times as they were on, we're getting kebabs, we're getting like Euro type food. The food was phenomenal, and the kids, and it was so warm. So we spent most of our time around Tuzla, but I went down. I was stationed just outside Tuzla, but we were down in Sarajevo a lot, Slavinsky Broad and all that. It was some beautiful country, but the amount of stuff they were having to live with the landmines and all that was unreal. So
Mary's Kitchen is going to be open September 12th, but anytime, it's 622 Canal Side Street. Anytime you're anywhere near, I would love to just cook you some good Balkan food and just thank you for everything you do.
I am down. I will be there.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mary. That's awesome. All right. Anybody else got anything for today?
Y'all can ask anything.
All right. Nobody drank coffee. I didn't see anybody drink coffee, by the way. You got mine's underneath my legs. So I can't get there, but thank you, Lynn.
Carl, we're going to see you on TV tonight chasing down perps?
You're going to see him tonight on TV chasing down perps. Not me.
I will give Carl a training session. We're going to go down on the North Main and deal with some prostitutes and drug dealers.
Great.
I expect that look back segment later.
Yeah. Yeah, the cameras may have to be off on that one.
So where do you see it?
Carl, this is Lynn. I just wanted to say good morning, everybody, and to thank the officer for everything that they do. I worked for law enforcement for about 14 years, and I know it's not easy on your families and things. So thank you so much for your sacrifices and all that you do.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful family, a senior in high school this year. He's busy.
Oh, he's contributing to the economy. I promise you that.
Good. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lynn.
Good
All
morning,
right.
it's Jamie. Can you hear
Hey,
me?
Jamie.
Hey, Officer Brown. So thank you for giving my husband and I something to do at 9 o'clock on the weekends because we're just exciting. And we're always trying to find the spots where you guys are at, sometimes near our office, but that's okay. So my question is about the Sandhills area. We frequent there a lot. You know, I like to take my mom there and then try to enjoy. It's gotten a little rough. You know, if they're planning to, I guess, ramp up some presence there.
Yeah, we've got extra patrols assigned out there now on the weekends in particular. Captain Potter that works that area out there, he's over that area, has been in talks with the managements at Sandhills. The problem out there that we're running into, and y'all may have seen it with some of the city businesses too. You're gonna have, like out there, we've got multiple companies that own different parts of Sandhills now. So we're dealing with multiple companies with different rules of their own on how they handle stuff. So we're in talks with them to make sure they get some more private security out there, because they are responsible for the security out there and making sure it's safe for their patrons along with us. So we're partnering with them along with trying to get more camera systems out there. So the more crimes we can solve, but we're upping the patrols out there. And the flip side of that, we're trying to educate the communities that are around Sandhills, in particular the parents. Like the last or 2 weekends ago, we had kids out there at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning that were dropped off there and really either dropped off by their parents and just left there to be babysitted at Sandhills, or the kids snuck out there without their parents knowing they were out there. So we're trying to educate the families on the dangers of leaving those teenagers out there, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. We're definitely doing our part, and we're catching a lot of things out there now before they're happening, like before they were happening, and then we get calls. So we're going to keep on it, and hopefully it gets better.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Great question.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, that was actually a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about working with CPD.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny. We've got a better relationship here with the city and with Chief Holbrook and his guys, and I've seen other cities have between their different jurisdictions. We communicate constantly. So I'm working on the Monticello Road area. That's where my region is at as a captain. My next door neighbor where I live at is Mike Blair. He's the North Region commander.
Okay.
So me and Mike share information. It's usually over a beer at the side of the yard, but we do share information, and then we constantly work with them guys. I think y'all may have seen it during the riots.
Oh yeah.
How closely we worked with these jurisdictions, in particular with Chief Holbrook and his guys. Great working relationships, I think, between him and the sheriff. They're doing good things, much better than we had when I first started here. There's turmoil, of course, with the city office, but I think things have smoothed out quite a bit now.
Good. Thanks for your question, Susan. All right. Well, listen, Danny, thanks for what you do. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us.
Yeah, this was a treat, and appreciate seeing the inside of your car. He had the windows rolled down when I got in. He said it still smells like pot from the night before.
It was a busy night last night, and I really didn't want Carl jumping in here and thinking I was smoking weed on the way to meet him.
Anyway, you can't make this up. This is awesome. All right. Y'all know the drill. We'll be here next Friday, but I appreciate y'all very much and y'all's partnership with the chamber. Thank you, Danny and the sheriff, for everything y'all do for us. Tune in tonight. He'll be there 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock's when it kicks off. We'll see how this weekend goes.
Hopefully it's game weekend. So
It's game weekend,
I hope
so
it can be as quiet as possible.
Hopefully
safe.
most of the stuff's hit down by the stadium. Everybody has a nice, safe weekend. We really don't want anything to be on the
Right.
air. We're looking to keep everybody off the air. That means it's been a good night. So
Well, be safe. Thank you, guys. Please, if you're traveling this weekend, don't drive slow in the left lane. And what else?
And take your valuables out of your car.
There you go. All right. We appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week.
Be safe.
Have a good weekend.
y'all.
Happy Labor Day. Oh, by the way, we're not having issues next Tuesday morning. So for those that come to issues meeting, we're not doing it the day after Labor Day this year. So y'all get to sleep in on Tuesday. So anyway, y'all be careful, be safe. We'll see you back here next Friday. Thanks,
Hey,
guys.
y'all.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, be safe.